Good morning. Hi, everybody. Hi, beautiful beings. Yeah, my face right in the beginning is this. I have so many ideas flowing through me. And today I want to talk about racism and the Grand Awakening. And I'm just here, like, relaxed in my room. However, for the past 3 days, this energy of the whole situation in the world with the rebellions, with the energy moving about racism, really got me thinking for the last 2 days. And I'm in my life moving toward action and not reaction. And when I say that I'm moving towards action, it means that whenever I do want to put my voice out in the world, I want it to be a voice that it's clear to me, at least. That if I can share a message, it's a message that I filtered through my ego, through my shadows, that I can actually be a contribution to myself. Because doing a video like this is also a release of energy to me, and that whoever connects with this can receive love, not any kind of reaction or hate or any emotion that comes from the depths of, disgust or anything. Because what's happening right now in the world is a bit disgusting. It's a lot disgusting. And we can stay there in the disgust, or we can transmute disgust to the next emotion, which would probably be rebellion. And that's where we are at right now. And we can transmute rebellion to the next emotion, which would be hope, change. And we can transmute hope and change to the next emotion in the scale of emotions, which would be peace, joy, and then love. And what I'm here attempting to do is just transmute myself into love. Because what's happening racism-wise in the world is a collective lack of transmutation of our own inner shadows and inner feelings into hate for others that are different, whether they're white, they're black, whatever their color, their gender, their choices of sexuality are, or their energy, feminine, masculine, whatever people choose to express in their lives. And people choose to be whatever body they come into this world, because I want to go deeper than just humans. I want to go into energy work. So as a human myself, humanoid, let me say that I have experienced racism in many ways. I'm Brazilian. I am neither black nor white nor anything. I'm just a mix of maybe some Arab blood, maybe some Portuguese, some Latino, some mix. And living in Brazil is a big melting pot of every culture, every race. And we had a lot of slavery. And although we had a lot of suffering, now we choose to honor a lot of the traditions and the pain that the slaves suffered here in Brazil. I see that we have transmuted a lot of that pain into things that now enrich our culture, like the food, the religions, the traditions, and the joy of living, the music, the dance. And there's a lot of amazing things in Brazilian culture, the smile, the love, the joy that come from the history of Brazil, that includes a lot of slavery, a lot of suffering. However, that slavery and suffering is not something that lingers in the culture. However, let me explain my history with racism. When I was 8 years old, I moved to Portugal. And Portugal, back in the 80s, was very traditionalist. And I've suffered, and I'm suffering with my lashes now, a lot of racism in Portugal. A lot. From being Brazilian. Maybe that's not the name racism, because it's not because of my skin color. It was more about my nationality. And because I was Brazilian, I was different. I was foreign. I suffered a lot of kids bullying me in school and calling me names and making me feel less than a normal kid, in school. And growing up as a teenager also, like, you're different, you're Brazilian, you speak different. I had a lot of, if everything was fine, great, everybody was my friend, but if things got like a little more delicate, oh, she's Brazilian, it's her fault. And a lot of suspicion on me, a lot, like, I had gypsies. Okay, let's go into the gypsy Brazilian Portuguese throwing rocks at me because I was Brazilian. So gypsies that are a minority in Portugal, and they're very discriminated. They discriminated me. And growing up, that really affected a lot of my self-worth and my ways of dealing with the world. And then as an adult in Portugal, looking good like I do, Brazilians, young women Brazilians, they are considered whores, or women that work for sex, for money, or that women that steal other people's husbands. So I suffered a lot from that, like, to the point that I didn't want to wear a miniskirt, because as a Brazilian with a miniskirt in Portugal, wow, it would be the top of Horrorwood. And here we go, discriminating people that choose prostitution as a profession, and Brazilians, and whatever. So I started discriminating myself and limiting myself and my expression through the lenses of other people. Then I was 18 and I went to study in Missouri. I was an exchange student in Missouri. And I went to the middle of nowhere in Missouri, Owensville, Missouri. And there I suffered a lot of racism with my skin color, which they couldn't really place what I was, if I was Latino, if I was black, if I was mulata, whatever, they couldn't really fit me into a box. Then they were racist, and I had a lot of girls that were bullying me, a lot of misunderstanding, a lot of rejection. I didn't have a prom date. I had to actually go with a friend that by pity they invited me to go with them. I had some friends, and my friends were always the alternative people. I was never fitting into the normal. I was, groups. I would try to be a cheerleader. The cheerleaders were sometimes mean to me because I was too tanned. My skin color was tanned. I mean, she's tanned. And then I suffered racism just for the color of my skin. And that was quite an enlightening experience. And then there was also a black person, a guy, his name was Will Smith in my school. And so I was like, okay, we're the two black people. And he's looking at me like, you're not black. And I was just like, okay. But he suffered a lot of racism as well. And I would talk to him, but he took it all very lightly because he was actually the only black person in that school. So we laughed a lot about how it was for him to be Will Smith in the middle of Missouri. It didn't seem to me like he expressed suffering about it. I hope he grew up to feel empowered about who he is, about his differences. I then moved to Florida after a while. And in Florida, I felt a lot of people trying to fit me into the box of being Latino, meaning people that live in Florida and they speak naturally, like their native language is Spanish. They would immediately talk to me in Spanish. And I'm not from a Spanish speaking country. I happen to speak Spanish. I felt disrespected when people just assumed that I was Spanish and started speaking to me in Spanish, which is okay. I understand the United States has no official language. It could be English, it could be Spanish. It's just that it's an assumption that I'm Latina because of the look. So I never felt comfortable with that. And then moving forward, in Florida, there were some neighborhoods where there were black people, versus, I don't know if I should say it. To me, it doesn't matter if they're tanned. Like, I'm tanned people. Blonde people are blonde people. I don't know the politically correct way to say that. So they were black people in certain neighborhoods, I felt threatened by them. But I also felt threatened by Arab people in Arabic countries. I also felt threatened by Filipino people in Filipino countries. You know, the thing is, we feel threatened when we cannot express our differences in a healthy way. Going back in time, growing up as a child, let's talk about feminism. If we're going to talk about all these subjects that I believe it's just a global shadow. I never got along with girls. I suffered a lot of bullying, a lot of envy, girlfriends that lied to me, stole from me shoes, and all of that was, I was different and I didn't own up to my difference. And when I say all these stories that I just said now, that I've suffered, I felt racism, I felt discriminated, I felt like a prostitute, I couldn't wear mini skirts, I didn't feel comfortable people speaking to me in Spanish. It's all me. It's all me. It's all me. It's all my choice. And of course, in an unconscious level, if I'm working at a victim mentality, I can choose to feel offended by all of this. I can choose to feel offended by going into a nightclub with black people and they're all looking at me like, what is she doing here? I can choose to feel offended going into a grocery store with all Latino people and they're like, hola, ¿qué tal? La la la. And I'm like, I don't speak Spanish. I mean, I do, but I don't assume that I do. I can choose to feel offended by all the girls that betrayed me, stole from me. I can choose to feel offended by the gypsies that threw rocks at me. I can choose to feel offended by all the Portuguese that assumed immediately that I was a prostitute just because I was wearing a miniskirt and I was cute. Or, like I said in my previous videos, I can choose to see the gift in all of that. And I confess, I was not always ready to choose to see the gift in all of that. I festered in victimhood. I festered in my powerlessness. I chose many times to be in the negative energy as a reaction to all of this that was going on around me. And I couldn't change it around me. I could not change it. I had no power to change everybody else, the whole world. And I found out just lately that the power wasn't in changing the outside world. The power was in changing me. And no, I'm not black. I have no idea what it feels to be, to feel the racism of me being really black and going around in the streets and being afraid of white people. Because I've seen a lot of videos in these past few days about things that are horrendous, like that it's really unfair. Like I never felt the unfairness of that all. I felt prejudice, I felt discrimination, but I never felt like my life was completely at risk. And at that point, I cannot speak any longer about seeing the videos of black people being killed by police, which is another whole Pandora's box of the whole government and the whole system of justice, of protecting each other. And what have we aligned and agreed with, that we would have a system called police that would protect us? And how can we empower ourselves to not need to feel protected by an outer source, by feeling ourselves protected from the inside out, from a divine source, from knowing that we're all energy and these bodies are all illusions. They're all just vessels. They're all just tools. They're amazing tools. They're amazing vehicles. They're amazing vessels of knowledge, of beingness, of energy. Through with these bodies, whatever color they are, we can do miracles, we can do wonders, we can change the world when we choose to change ourselves. Because everything that happens out there in the world is a reflection of ourselves. So let's tie this into the grand awakening. All this racism, all this Me Too movement, power, this is all us taking our power back to ourselves. Why did black people that suffered as slaves in the 60s, they chose to keep victims and keep this energy of Black Lives Matter? Let me confess, when I saw this, I was in a gay parade in West Hollywood, where I used to live. And in the gay parade, there was a whole block of people saying Black Lives Matter, Black Lives Matter. Of course, Black Lives Matter. All lives matter. All lives matter. And I would not choose to go in a parade saying Black Lives Matter or White lives Matter or Latino Lives Matter or Asian Lives Matter. I would choose to go on a parade saying all lives matter, no matter what my body in this reality, in this lifetime is. I happen to choose being Brazilian, which, good. I'm happy about that cosmic decision that I made. But it's just a vessel. This body is a lot of molecules all together in a quantum mass of energy, and it's capable of so much more than just being angry at something that is unjust, than just being rebellious about something that is wrong. Can we please transmute into love where there's no right or wrong, there's no white or black, there's no good or bad, and see the gift in all of this and use our bodies, use our energies to just transmute everything that is put into our face into love. And let's do this in an individual level, because this whole coronavirus, this whole pandemic, this whole lockdown was a huge opportunity for us to be with us, with everything that we are. The white that we are, the black that we are, the light that we are, the dark that we are, the shadows. And if we took this time to distract ourselves, like we're now distracting ourselves with riots and whatever is going on in the media, if we were distracted by everything around us, we're not doing our work. I'm sorry. You can go outside and protest. That's a great choice. I'm not against that. I'm not pro that. That's not my choice. My choice is to work on my inner self, my shadows, all my shitty parts, to cry if I need to forgive, to ask for forgiveness, to be angry, to be at fault, to be dramatic, to be lazy, to procrastinate, to come to a conscious understanding of me, to love me, no matter if I have dark moments, if I have light moments. It's not just be me when I'm happy. It's just be me all the time. And work with all the shadows of me. And get those feelings that are festering in me and just love them into light. So get all these feelings that are festering in the world, in the collective. Let's transmute them into light. We can help the collective. Going inside first. Meditation would be more helpful than breaking into a store. Self-acceptance, getting the power of you. I am a Brazilian, Latino, tanned being, and all of that I can now, and a female, and now I can transmute all of that into love. And the result of that in my life is I used to suffer with women being jealous of me, discriminating me, hating on me. I don't get that energy in my life anymore. I don't suffer from anything anymore. I choose to see the gift in everything. And when I choose to see the gift in everything, only gifts come to me. Like I just had my birthday and all these wonderful women just sending me supportive messages. And I was like completely extravagant, like a Barbie girl with these lashes, with like a pink skirt and heels in the middle of Brazil, like throwing myself a party, showing off my life. My energy was very, very high and very, very, could have been interpreted as oh, she's in a miniskirt, she's a whore, she's showing her boobs, oh my God, she's in a bikini, oh my God, look at her showing off. It could have been like that. I didn't get any of that hate because I've changed myself. I've protected myself. I don't need people around me protecting me. I surround myself by an invisible, divine shield of energy, of white transmuting light that only lets the good of God in. I would like to invite all of us to just let all of what I said that could be interpreted in so many ways. The only way to end racism is to accept the dark within you and transmute it into light and love. And knowing that if you can't transmute it into light, let it be dark. Find the power in the darkness. Find the power in you, in whatever difference you have, at whatever point that you don't fit in a box. In the box that other people made for you. Don't try to yourself create a box for you either. Go out there, go enjoy this grand awakening with all of this energy being moved, and rebellions and riots and murders and lynchings and protesting and pandemics and uniting and dividing, and all of this energy being moved. Take it all in. And I've been doing that for a few days. I've been taking it all in. And I was even asking friends of mine, black friends of mine, do you feel threatened? Do you feel unsafe? And one of my friends who lives in Europe said, no, I don't feel. I see the positive in everything. He's as black as a black man can be. And he never felt threatened. He never felt unsafe. He never felt victimized. It was his choice, his power move, his choice. And now he's thriving in life. Thriving. This man is like a light bulb. He's a sunshine. Wherever he is like, I've been around him. His energy field is just pure light, love, joy, happiness. He chose not to be a victim of racism. And everybody, every black person, every Latino person, every Asian person, I know living in America is quite the school. It's a university, because everywhere in America you need to check a box. What are you? Hispanic? Are you Latino? Are you whatever? Every document, like everything. If you apply for a job, if you apply for a document, if you want to get electricity in your house, if you want to rent a house, you need to define yourself in a box. Hispanic, Latino, other, black, African American, whatever the boxes are that they write the different meanings, they're boxes. And if you're black and you're feeling victimized, you're not checking the black box, you're checking the victim box. If you're white and you're feeling victimized, you're not checking the white box, you're checking the victimized box. And what would it take for us to not check that box anymore? Check 0 boxes. Go with other. Go with weird. Go with not mentioned. Go with outside the lines, outside the box. What would it take for us to go there, to the next level? To just see ourselves as beautiful vessels of whatever shape, color, form we see ourselves, and go be the light, go be the change that we can be in the world. Let me go further here. Let me really go further. If you're done, then you're done, but I'm gonna go further. Let's talk about Lorena Bob DeWitt, whatever her name was, Lorena, the girl that cut off the penis of this guy. She was one woman that cut off one penis. She wasn't aware of what she was doing at the time. And how I see it, my interesting point of view of all this is like, when consciousness requires a big change in the paradigms, in the systems, consciousness, chooses a person that will be the symbol of that change. So Lorena goes there and cuts off a penis. At that point that she did that, women were being battered all over the world. Domestic violence was like high. Women belonged to their husbands. They had to be raped over and over again by husbands, because that was what you do as a woman. You have sex with your husband whenever. And I felt that. I had a husband that coerced me by being a wife to have sex. And that's not a good feeling. It's a really unempowering feeling. Lorena goes there, cuts off the dick. And suddenly all the attention of the media, of the whole United States, of the whole world is on this issue. Domestic violence, women being battered. And from that sacrifice, she was the lamb being sacrificed. From her sacrifice, and she went through a lot, being discriminated, being hated, all of the energy that being felt was probably overwhelming. But she needed to do that. What a life mission to be that one person that comes and brings on the light to a subject that no one wants to talk about. And she did that. And even us women that have no idea who she was or heard barely about her story, I saw the documentary, I found it fascinating. We are safer now because of that story, because that shifted the whole consciousness of paying attention, of us reclaiming the power that us women don't have to do what we don't have to do. We don't have to be what men want us to be. And that started a whole movement of empowering women. That started back in the 60s and it's still going on, I understand. She had to be the one person that went there and cut off a penis for that to be the highlight of the 80s and change a lot of laws, a lot of attitudes, a lot of behaviors, a lot of patterns, a lot of emotions were shaken and removed from that. Can we see her as a victim, or can we see her as a beacon of light into a subject? Like I said in my other video, I choose to see the gift in everything. So I see her as a gift. And we're going to talk about George Floyd now. He was murdered, lynched in the street by a white person. Can we see him as a victim, or can we see him as a gift? That many other people came before and were murdered by white people, and they were all unseen. George is being seen. What is he being seen as, and what can we transmute to see him as love and gift? Because the fact that this man didn't fight, that he was love to his last breath, love and calm and peace, he was giving us this gift. Can we take this gift and transmute all of our despair or all of our fears, of all of the things that are holding our breath away? Can we accept that maybe that will be our last breath, and take it with dignity, with love, knowing that the light is right here, reaching for us in our heart and being at peace with whatever we are? Self-acceptance, self-love, peace. It's not given, it's not taught to us at school, and it's definitely not something that it's natural given all the conditioning as humans in this society, with so much right and wrong, good and bad, biased, like polarity. And individually, if we all choose to end polarity, and I'm not going to be here, I would never go on a protest against racism, against war, against, predators or men or the patriarchy. I would choose to be dissolving polarity within me and seeing that result in the world. Like I saw. In my Instagram, I get no hate. I get only support and love from women. Women that I before was victim of and now no longer am. My power. I saw the gift in things. I saw the good in women. I saw the good in me. And suddenly the world sees the good in me. So let's, again, recapping. Let's check off the box. Let's remove the box of victim. Whatever color we are, we can be victims of anything. Being gay, Being women, let's not be victims. Let's stop victim, because victim is a way of controlling. Let's stop control. Let's stop victimhood. Let's do it from the inside out, individually. Please. Or not. But this is the invitation of this grand awakening that was happening right now in 2020. The opening of the door to a fifth dimension where there's no polarity, there's no right and wrong, where we can see the gift in Hitler. It's a challenge. It's achievable. It's feltable. It's transmutable. We can do it. One body, whatever color, race, at the time. So to finish this, I want to share a few tools that I use. One of the tools is I wake up in the morning and I say a little prayer. Not every morning, I confess. Not perfect here. But in the mornings that I do, I do surround myself with love energy, and it is. I call upon the divine white light and energy to build an invincible shield of protection around me. I call upon the divine blue light and energy to build an invincible shield of protection around me. I call upon the divine golden light and energy to build an invincible shield of protection around me. And let's call upon the divine black light and energy to build an invincible shield of protection around me and around us. We are invincibly protected by the divine light. Only good from God will enter our lives. Believe it, feel it, be it. And get out of victimhood. The other way to see things is look at your own ways that you're being racist with yourself. What are you not accepting about yourself that is different to everybody else? Why are you trying to fit into other people's boxes in whatever way? As a daughter, as a mother, fitting into the role of a daughter, role of a mother, role of a father, role of wearing all these masks. I'm a worker now. I'm a lawyer. I'm a footballer. I'm an artist. Masks, masks, masks. I'm Livia. I'm black. I'm white. Masks, masks, masks. Boxes. So a way to get out of these boxes is always asking, whenever we have a thought of hate, of who does this belong to? Oh, I'm going to go drive my car down that street. Interesting that I'm doing that. Who does this belong to? Being free is being aware, is being in the question. How can I improve this? How does it get any better than this? Universe, show me the way. How does it get any better than this? What can I change today? How can I empower myself today? Be in the question. Don't look for an answer. Be in the question. Be open. Be an open field of possibilities by being in a question. How can I accept myself more today? How can I love myself more today? How can I be willing to be light today? What else is possible here that I don't see it's possible? That if I saw that it was possible, it would change this reality. How can I create a new reality today? Who am I today? How can I change my own color today? How can I change my own power today? How can I see the gift in this? How can we see the gift in all of this that is happening now? That is my question, and that's where I want to stay. When I look at social media, when I look at everybody rebelling or expressing their opinions, their ideas, I want to look at it, I want to love it. I choose to see the gift in all of the ideas. I choose to see the gift in hate. I choose to see the gift in racism. I choose to see the gift in Hitler. I choose to be free and to be me. Thank you, everybody. Sending you so much love, and we can all sit down and just let this love flow through us, to us, from us, to everybody else around us, and transmute anything into love, because we are magical like that. We're alchemists, we're powerful, infinite beings made of energy and stardust, and let's transmute everything into love. Mwah. Have a wonderful day.